The stadium erupts. Strangers are hugging. Someone 3 seats down is crying into a beer because 11 men in the same colored shirts just won a game. And you feel nothing. Not annoyed. Not bored, exactly. Just quiet. Like everyone in the room got sent a signal your brain never received. You've probably learned to fake it a little. A nod. A, yeah, big game. Because somewhere along the way, you noticed that admitting the truth, this genuinely does not move me, creates a small, strange distance between you and everyone else in the room. Here's what almost nobody tells you. That gap isn't a defect in you. It's a different program running. And today we're opening it up. Part 1. Why the others are wired to feel it. To understand why you don't feel it, you first have to understand why they do. For most of human history, belonging to a group wasn't optional. It was survival. Exclusion from the tribe could mean starvation or death. So the brain built a shortcut. Treat your side, winning as if it happened to you personally. Sports hijack that exact shortcut. When someone's team scores, their brain releases a small hit of dopamine, the same chemical involved in gambling, in slot machines, in any reward that arrives on an unpredictable schedule. The uncertainty is the whole engine. Nobody gets addicted to a coin flip they know the outcome of in advance. This is why fans say we won after a game they didn't play in. Psychologists call it identity fusion. For a fan's brain, the boundary between self and team genuinely blurs. It isn't performance, it's neurology. None of that is broken, by the way. It's just a program that happens to be running in most people's heads, and not in yours. Part 2. Your tribal switch isn't missing, it's just harder to flip. Here's the part that usually gets misunderstood, including by you. Everyone has a threshold for what counts as my group. For a lot of people, geography is enough. The city you were born in, the colors your family happened to wear on Sundays. For others, that threshold sits much higher. Belonging has to be earned through something real. Shared effort, shared values, shared meaning, not inherited by accident of birthplace. If your brain runs the second version, sports fandom can start to feel strange up close. You're being asked to emotionally commit to millionaires you'll never meet, on a roster that changes every season, for a franchise that would relocate overnight if the math made sense. Somewhere in you, a quiet question forms. What exactly am I supposed to attach to here? When the answer doesn't feel solid, the signal just fades, not from cynicism, from clarity. This isn't a rejection of belonging itself, it's selectivity. Your tribal instinct didn't disappear. It just refuses to switch on for something that doesn't feel mutual or real. Part 3. Where this pattern actually started. This orientation almost never shows up out of nowhere in adulthood. It's usually built early in the specific environment your nervous system learned to read as safe. In some households, game day is bonding. Noise means celebration. Shared excitement is the family's love language, and a child raised in that home learns. Loud rooms equal connection. But that's not everyone's early wiring. In other homes, raised voices meant something was wrong, not something to celebrate. Crowded, high-stimulation rooms weren't fun. They were something to monitor. A nervous system raised on that pattern doesn't relax into collective noise. It stays alert instead. And in plenty of other homes, connection simply came from somewhere else entirely. Conversation, shared projects, quiet one-on-one attention, rather than group spectacle. A child who grows up like that builds identity around depth, not display. By adulthood, that wiring is just the default setting. Nobody rewired it on purpose. It adapted, the way brains do. Part 4. Your attention isn't missing. It's already spent. Here's something almost nobody mentions. Being a real sports fan is a genuine cognitive investment. Rosters, histories, stats, rivalries, storylines that stretch across years. That's an entire mental archive to maintain. Brains only have so much room for that kind of sustained tracking. If yours never built the sports archive, it's very likely because that space was already occupied by how markets move, how a piece of music is built, how a system works, how an idea connects to another idea. Attention that isn't scattered across a season is attention that's been concentrated somewhere else. The real question was, never why don't you care about the game? It's what did your brain decide to care about instead? Part 5. The quiet cost nobody talks about. There's a layer under all of this that rarely gets said out loud. A small quiet shame. Someone asks if you saw the game and you already know the honest answer creates distance. So, you soften it. Didn't really catch it, instead of the truth. It didn't move me at all. Over time, those tiny moments add up into a feeling of being slightly out of sync with the room. And because humans are wired to read group reactions as normal, your brain starts hunting for what's wrong with you. In a culture that treats shared excitement as proof you're doing life correctly, quiet neutrality can start to feel like a flaw you're hiding. But the shame is built on a misdiagnosis. This was never emotional deficiency. It's mismatch. A nervous system that simply isn't built to switch on for that particular signal. Once you see the difference between those two things, a surprising amount of that quiet weight lifts on its own. You're not missing some essential human wiring. Your reward system, your sense of belonging, your attention, they're all running, just calibrated toward different inputs. One brain finds its meaning in a season-long narrative decided by a scoreboard. Another finds the exact same intensity in a craft, a body of work, a conversation, an idea that keeps unfolding long after the final whistle would have blown. Neither version is the upgrade. They're just different builds. So next time someone asks if you saw the game, and the honest answer is no, not even a little, you can let that be the whole answer. You're not broken, and you're not missing out. You're just running a different program, and it's just as real as theirs. If this finally put language to something you've felt your whole life but never quite said out loud, tell me in the comments where your attention actually goes instead. And if you want more videos that decode the quiet, unspoken patterns behind how people work, subscribe to Human Algorithm. We open a new one every week.